Hi, I'm Nisha DeGaring, host of Good Things Utah, and I've been a longtime supporter of Todd's Belief Cast. I hope you find inspiration in the courageous stories shared by the amazing people Todd features on his show. The guests serve as shoulders for us to stand on, allowing us to see a little further and cultivate belief in oneself. Remember, you have the dignity and power to change. I encourage you to keep striving and believing in yourself. Enjoy today's podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Todd Sylvester with the Todd Inspires Belief Cast. Thank you so much for tuning in week after week. It means the world to me. Again, thanks to my sponsors. Without you, I couldn't do this. And as always, I'm so grateful for these people, these amazing guests that I bring on, these amazing people who have amazing lives that are willing to come here and be vulnerable and share just, their struggles, their triumphs, and it's just amazing. And I know you guys believe the same thing I do. And today we are in for a treat. Today I'm honored to sit down with Jaylynn Lindley. Jaylynn, thank you for being here.
Of course. I'm so excited.
No, you guys are going to be just blown away by the power of this girl here. At just 19 years old, she's already accomplished more than most people dream of. From being crowned Miss Provo 2025, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
And Miss Utah's Teen in 2023, to performing with OneRepublic, that's amazing. And the 26-time national champion BYU Cougarettes, Jaylynn has proven she's a powerhouse both on and off the stage. Currently a junior at BYU studying biology with hopes of becoming an orthopedic surgeon. She's combining her passion for medicine, athletics, and mental wellness. Through her initiative, Win Within, advocating for athletes, Jaylynn is helping young people discover their worth beyond sports and turn setbacks into strengths. So there's so much to talk about here. And you really have done so much at age 19. That's amazing. And I'm just so impressed. And, we were talking before we went live, we've got some mutual friends.
Yes.
And that's how I discovered you. And I've always been just, so impressed when I see these young people such as yourself who are making an impact in this world already, literally wanting to make a difference. And, I guess the reason why that stands out to me, because when I was your age, I wasn't thinking that way. And so it's very impressive. But why don't we start, Jaylynn, with, tell our listeners where you grew up and a little bit about your family.
Yes. So I grew up in Salem, Utah. And before then I was in Emery County, which is a really small town south of Price, Utah. Nobody knows where it is. And that's where my mom's side of the family's from. So I grew up on a farm.
Really?
And I grew up, going hunting and fishing and all of the outdoors things. So it may not look like it now, but I'm very much a tomboy, and that's how I grew up.
Okay.
And then we moved to Salem when I was about 10, and I'm the oldest of 3, and my younger siblings, they're twins, they're a boy and a girl, and they're 17. So all us 3 are pretty close in age, and then I have my sweet parents, and they're my best friends. They are. It's cool. Always, I don't know. It's interesting becoming an adult, because I feel like I'm a baby adult right now, but it's interesting as you become an adult, they just become more of the guidance people in your life and the people that you go to for everything, and you soon realize that they do know what they're talking about.
Right.
So,
well, since you said that, why don't we? I know this is a big question, but what are some of the lessons you learned from them as you were growing up? What stands out?
Yes, I think something that stands out that maybe some of my friends or peers weren't getting at home as much is the importance of education and the importance of hard work and discipline. I grew up a super competitive dancer from a really young age. So I was dancing 7 to 8 hours every single day.
Wow.
And when you're 13, dance is everything. And the competition is everything.
Yeah.
And I would ask a million times over, just homeschool me. It's going to be great. It's going to be fine. I want to be a professional dancer. Just homeschool me. School doesn't matter. Who needs math?
Right.
And my parents always prioritized education and giving me a normal childhood as best as they could.
Yeah.
And I think that served me really well in life to make me really well balanced, and it gave me other things outside of dance and motivated me to work hard at something that I love school now and I love my education now, but maybe back then I didn't. And I think that's something unique about them is they knew my potential, and so they placed very high expectations on me and pushed me to be my best.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. I know one of the things you kind of identify yourself with is you're a very driven person. right?
I try to be, yes.
Yeah, well, and it sounds like, I mean, dance is no joke. I have 3 girls who all did dance. They did drill.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It is a lot. But watching what they went through and the discipline they had to have, and it was just, I mean, they practice year round. It's not like just for a couple months and they go on to something else. It was like every single day. So I was always so impressed with my daughters and just how they just stuck with it. And so I think you have to be driven to in order to, one, not only do it, but for you excelled in it.
Thank
you.
you.
Did you notice that as a young age where you're like, you felt like, you know, I'm driven, I've got this confidence that I can do these things, even at age maybe 13?
I learned very quickly the difference between discipline and motivation.
Let's hear that.
Yeah, there's such a difference. I always say, for me, since I was probably about 10 or 11, dance felt like a job that I loved in a great way. I had amazing parents that were always like, you can quit anytime you want. Like, we want to go to Hawaii. Like, let's go. Like,
yeah, we need a break.
Exactly. I never had parents that were like, yo, you're going to do this, which I think was very helpful because it was all in my hands. But I learned very quickly that dance is like a job that you love. You don't like going to work every day, but you love your job. And motivation can go up and down. You can be so motivated some days. And so like the last thing I want to do right now is get up and go to dance. And I learned that discipline is when you do it anyways. And I think that served me well in a lot of different aspects of my life, especially in school. It's like, yeah, nobody wants to study every day. Yeah. But everybody wants good grades and wants a good education. And so you do it anyways. Yeah. And I think learning the difference between motivation that's ever changing and discipline that is constant served me well in a lot of different aspects of my life. And I owe that to dance at such a young age.
Wow. Well said. You know, I see that in my daughters, to be honest. You know, like the thing they learned is to be disciplined, right? Because there was mornings they didn't want to get up and do this.
Especially at drill. It's early.
Oh my goodness. So I couldn't believe what is going on here? Anyway, it was it's so impressive. And so so here you are, you know, you're thriving in the dance passion that you have for it. And, you know, you do this in high school. And did you, you know, we mentioned that you were a BYU Cougarette. Is that something you wanted to do early on? Like when you were in high school, did you like, that's one of my goals, or did that happen, I don't know, by chance? How did that happen?
Right. I've been a very goal-oriented person. I think since I was little, I don't even know where it came from. And I wanted to be a Cougarette since I was like 7 years old. So my mom took me to their concert and I just fell in love with the program. Which is crazy because my family are big Ute fans. So, and I'm at BYU, not really sure how that worked out. And my siblings are dead set on going to Utah. They're like, we're not going. So it's just kind of funny.
That is funny.
That I want to do this so bad when my family did not like BYU. I'd never been to BYU games. And every decision since I was about 8 years old was for Cougarettes. I did well in school because you have to get into BYU before you're allowed to audition to be on Cougarettes. Which is unique compared to other athletic programs where you get on the team and then you get pushed through the school. And so every decision I made was for Cougarettes. I didn't do drill or cheer in high school because I wanted to stay at my studio and get better for Cougarettes. I did well in school because I was like, I have to get into BYU for Cougarettes. And it was the ultimate goal for me.
So that was, wow.
Yes.
And you achieved it.
Yes, I did.
I mean, how cool is that? And again, Cougarette's 26-time national champions. I mean, that tells you how amazing that team is, right? And they've always been so good. And I mean, even someone like, you know, I know my girls kind of aspired to that as well. And just, I've always known how hard it is to become one of those things. So when you finally achieve it, how did that feel?
Oh, yeah, it was crazy because so they started doing recruitments my year that I was auditioning, and 2 of my best friends got recruited and I did not. And it was heartbreaking. I bet. And I think it was especially hard because those 2 friends that got recruited had decided that they wanted that about maybe a month prior. And I was like, I wanted this for almost 10 years of my life. And so seeing them be recruited, and because what they did is they recruited about 2 to 3 girls and then still had tryouts to get more people on the team as well, if that makes sense. And it broke me for a while. And but I think the things that break you make you better. And I had 6 weeks to become the very best I could. And I think nothing in my life has came easily. I think I've always had to fight for everything. And so it's very on theme that I had to once again fight for it. But I think it made it all the more sweeter when I had accomplished it.
Yeah.
It was really special.
No, thank you for sharing that. What do you do in those hard days? Like, explain that, because I mean, I can see how that broke you. You know, you're like, man, what's going on here?
Yeah.
What do you do to, obviously you went right to work, you practiced harder, but I know that's part of it, but what do you do when you're struggling like that?
I remember it was like the day after all this recruitment stuff came up, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm just not supposed to do this. Like, I'm going to go do something else. Like, maybe like this is God telling me like, this isn't for you. Right. Like, you're like, okay, maybe this is a sign that like, I'm not supposed to be doing this. And it was the day after, and I was supposed to go to this turns class, like this college prep turns class. And I like call my mom. I'm like, Mom, like, I don't want to go. Like, I don't think this is for me. I don't think I want to do this. And she looked at me and she was like, don't let anybody ever tell you you're not smart enough for a class, you're not good enough for a team, or you're not enough for anything in your life. Like, you choose that. Like, why are you letting other people take that away from you? And that kind of hit me, and I was like, yeah, you're right.
Good advice.
Like, yes, you're right. Like, why would you ever let, and that's not to say I didn't have really hard days. I think some people forget that. Like, it's not like I woke up the next day like, I'm just gonna work and it's gonna be great. I had a lot of really hard days, and it's hard to watch your best friends live out your dream. I think that's a weird phenomenon, because you're so happy for them, and then at the same time you're trying not to be sorry for yourself, and it's a weird emotion to navigate. And I think I'm still navigating that, but hearing that, why would I let somebody else dictate my future? Like, why would I do everything in my power to accomplish that thing? And I think that brought me through the next couple weeks for sure.
Wow. I love that. And I think one of the things something like that also does, it builds resilience.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Did you notice that? Like, now you look back, do you see that was cultivating resilience in your life?
For sure. It's interesting, because I feel like you meet certain people that maybe have not gone through hard things yet, and there's something missing. Yeah. There's something missing in their grit and their determination. And I think the more things that you go through, the more resilience you build, and the more that you can help other people. And I think I look back now and like, yeah, it's so hard. Yeah. But life's hard. And the sad thing is life just gets harder. Yeah. And I think I'm grateful to experience a lot of hard things really young, because I think it's built me into somebody that is more mature and understands things on a deeper level than maybe other people my age, which I'm blessed, and I feel like that's a unique experience. For sure.
I think I love this truth that you never know how strong you are until you're forced to bring that hidden strength forward. Right. So it's because of that challenge, you're almost forced for you to dig deep and go, okay, how tough are you?
Right.
And at first you're like, I'm not, and then eventually you're like, okay, no, I'm going to, and because again, you said it, eventually you went right back to work and even practiced harder.
Yes.
Right.
And it's interesting because, I thought that was going to be the hardest experience for a while.
Yes. Yeah.
And then not even a year later, I went through another extremely hard thing that was even harder than the first thing.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because that's one of the things I wanted to get into today, because I know that was really devastating at the time for you. Will you share what that was for our listeners?
Yes. So I made the team in the spring of, I'm going to get my years right, 2024. Yes. Okay. And I was on the team, and then in January, right after football season had just finished, I broke my foot at practice. And I had to get 6 screws and a plate on the side of my foot. Wow. Like 3 days after I broke it. I was out of concert. I was out of basketball games. I didn't really know what that meant. And it was supposed to be like a 8-week to 12-week recovery, which for an injury is not crazy terrible. Like, I was very lucky. Right. And after about those 8 to 12 weeks, we went on this BYU cruise where the Cougarettes performed and worked and did camps. And at that time, the foot started declining again and being really swollen and red and painful, and trying to push the hardware out of
I was rejecting the hardware.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yes. And so we go on this cruise. I can't walk around. I can't really do anything. And we come back, and I go and get a doctor's appointment. And he's like, yeah, you need this out immediately. Like, let's get you in. They were thinking maybe an infection was forming. And so it needed to be out right away.
Yeah.
And I danced a little bit on the cruise, but not to my full potential, a little bit. And that was great. And he was like, okay, so like, what do you have tomorrow? What do you have the next day? Like, we need this out immediately. And I was like, I have tryouts this weekend. And if you don't know, when it comes to dance teams, it's unlike other athletic programs, unfortunately. Once you make the team, you have to retry out every year. And it's not a formality. It's it's a real tryout. I think some people think it's like a formality. It's a real tryout. You really do have to retry out every single year. Which I understand to a point to keep motivation up, but it's just interesting how different it is from other athletic programs. The difference between like men and women's programs.
For sure.
So
that's challenging.
Which is a whole other topic, but
we could spend another hour on that one.
Right. It's so interesting. And I was like, I have tryouts. I have the most important 2 days of my entire year in these next 2 days, and I can't walk. Like, I can't walk. And my trainer's there, and the surgeon looks at my trainer and is like, well, like, she's not well. And I'm told I have to dance. I'm told, no, you have to do this, and I can't walk.
Jeez.
And they're worried about infections, so they lance my foot in the doctor's office and open it up to send it in for labs. And I unfortunately passed out, had a seizure, came back to, started throwing up, and that was a terrible experience. And I had to try out for this world-renowned team in 2 days.
No way.
So we pulled myself together with a lot of help from other people too. I have a really amazing support system, and pulled myself together, and I said, well, we're just going to give it our all. I can't walk, and here we go. We're on as high pain meds as I can with still being able to learn choreography and like function and drive and all those things. And I went to tryouts. I was on anti-nausea medication. I was on the highest pain meds I could.
Jeez.
Yeah, and it was to say lightly a horrific experience. I've never been in an experience where I felt so I don't want to use these words 'cause that sounds terrible, but maybe emotionally and physically abused in certain situations, because I was forced to do something that my surgeon and me were saying, I cannot do this. I'm unable. I can't walk. What do you mean dance? What do you mean dance for my life? What do you mean try out? And so we went through the first round. We went through the second round. We're in the third round. I'm in a callback. And so I'm like dancing this callback, and I'm like, I am unwell. Because these days are about like 8 to 9 hour dance days.
I can't even, I'm feeling it right now. Just from the sound going, man, how are you doing this?
On a foot that is actively pushing hardware out of my foot. And so then after the callbacks, I walk out of that room and pass out. And so my friend runs to get the trainer, like, she's not okay, she's out, like, I don't know what to do. And I still had to keep trying out after that, and that was a horrific experience. And then after the tryout, I think something in me knew it wasn't my best, obviously. I also hadn't danced for 5 months prior to.
Because you couldn't.
Right. You're out of shape, you're out of training, and then you're in pain. And the foot has no muscle in it anymore. It can't point. It doesn't move. Like, there's so many factors. And so then after that was tryouts finished on a Saturday. I had surgery to get my hardware removed on a Tuesday. And then Wednesday morning, I was informed that you're no longer invited back to be on Cougarettes. And I think it rocked my world even more, because I was sitting there in a cast on pain meds, not being able to move, and you get this devastating information, and it was heartbreaking, obviously, and it was also more heartbreaking because I knew that I should have never been dancing. I knew that, like, I never should have been put in that situation. And since I'd already gotten the surgery, I wasn't able to try out for any other college dance team because I was in a cast and I couldn't move. And I think for a while I was in like a really dark place. I think like all of May I was just in a really sad place of, what am I gonna, like, who am I? Like, who am I without this?
Yeah, because you mentioned, I watched a couple interviews of you, and you talked about how it felt like your identity was now gone. You know, and that's a scary place to be, because if that's who you are, now you can't do that. Now what, right?
Right. And through an unfortunate experience that shouldn't have happened.
Shouldn't have happened that way.
Yes, shouldn't have happened in that way. And that's disheartening that a D1 athletic program has experiences like this, and you feel really alone.
Right.
And so I posted this video on my Instagram, and it was terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying, because it's hard to share stories like that. And I never want it to come across as negative towards certain people or a certain program, but I do want to share my story. And
it's your story.
Yes. And understand. And I try to share it in a way that is only about me and not about other people. And as soon as I share that experience, all of these messages started flooding in. It was crazy. Like, these moms, these dads, these people calling me or texting me being like, really? I've had experiences like this. My kids has had experiences like this. And it opened my eyes to realize that maybe I went through something horrific so other people don't have to. And that's where Win Within came from, advocating for athletes. And it's a program that's still being developed, and I'm still working on it. And I'm excited about certain things that are coming up. And Miss Provo has been kind of my platform and my launch pad to reach more people in the community. And it all came from athletes don't have a place to share their voice about the terrible things that happen to them. Because in all honesty, like, it sounds really glamorous. D1 athletics sounds really glamorous. And I always tell people this experience. I have a friend on BYU track, and I was talking to him and sharing my experience because he wanted to know. He's confused. I'm telling him about it. And he looks at me, and he is a really amazing athlete. He's doing so well, like placing nationals, all the great things. Like, you think he lives the dream life. Truly. I thought he lived the dream life.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah.
And after I told him, and I'm really upset, and he looks at me and he was like, isn't that just the biggest relief? And I sat there, I was like, what? And then I was like, what? You feel this way? You feel like it would be a relief to not be an athlete anymore, and you're living the quote unquote dream life that everybody thinks of, a D1 BYU college athlete. And in all honesty, like, these athletes don't have a place to share these terrible experiences that happen to them, and they happen more often than not. I was on a team where almost every single girl was in therapy, and that's really disheartening to see. And that's not normal. Right. That's not normal. That's not okay. And I think people forget that a lot of times, and that's where Win Within came from. And it has 4 pillars, and it covers your identity, your mindset, recovery, and fuel. And it's to hopefully help create individuals that are whole people outside of your sport.
Wow. You know, thank you for sharing this, by the way. Very heart touching. And boy, I'm going through it as you're sharing this. I'm like, wow. Again, admire your strength to do what you're doing now. And I'm a huge believer that life happens for us. But it's hard to see it when you're in the thick of it and going through something really hard. It's hard to see that happened for you, right? But now look what you're doing because of what you went through.
Right.
And then you're going to be this voice for a lot of people or allow them to have their voice to be able to say, hey, here's my struggle. Here's my experience. And so it almost, can you see it that way where you're like, hey, okay, I can see that this kind of happened for me? I
think I'm getting there. Yes.
I know it might take a minute, but
Yes. I think if you would have asked me in May, I'd be like, absolutely not. Why was I chosen for this? Are you kidding? Like, I think that was my reaction. I was like, why me? What are you talking about? I'm like, I've wanted this for so long. What do you mean, why me? Everybody else gets this dream. I still watch my best friends live my dream. To this day, I'll forever watch.
That's gotta be tough.
The people that I love so much, that truly are amazing humans, live this dream that I always thought was meant for me. And that's it's a weird emotion to navigate, and I'm working on it to this day, and I have amazing friends. And I think now I can see it as God put me here for a reason. And whether you believe in God or the universe or wherever, you can't deny that you go through certain experiences for a reason. And I think that I've always been somebody who stands up for what's right.
Yeah.
I think that's how my parents raised me, whether it's popular or not.
Yeah.
Because the reality of it is me sharing my story is not necessarily popular.
No.
It's not popular amongst my friends that are still on Cougarettes.
Sure.
It's not popular amongst people that love BYU and the programs.
Yeah.
And it's not popular for them to hear this experience.
Yeah.
And I always say, I'm like, when it comes to pageants and this America opportunity, it's called a community service initiative.
Right. Yeah.
And it's controversial.
It is.
And I know that.
Yeah.
But I also know that why would I ignore this experience and push it under the rug when I could bring light to it? And if people are not a fan of that, that's all right, but it's the truth.
Yep.
And the truth should always be shared.
For sure.
Whether it's popular or not.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. This is proof that you are a driven person, right?
Thank you.
Despite the struggles and despite the trials and the things you've gone through and the setbacks and stuff. And so, man, I'm getting emotional because it's just so touching that you have turned it around. And again, I know it's still navigating some feelings and I can relate because basketball was my passion, and I lost a basketball scholarship because I was getting wasted. And it's a little different than yours, but at the same time, I felt like I had lost my identity.
The feelings are the same.
They're the same.
Either way.
And I was literally watching my good friends, live their dream out and play in college sports, and some went on to play in the pros, and I'm sitting there going, wow, I thought that was going to be me.
It cuts you really deep.
And it cuts deep, and it took me a long time to get through that. And I was a drug addict, alcoholic at the time too, which didn't help the situation. But I just want you to know I can relate, and I'm sitting there because what I've learned, and I want to hear your thoughts on this, Jaylynn, because my identity back then, if you say, hey, who are you, Todd? I would say, I'm a basketball player.
Yep.
And what I realized that was wrong. I was good at basketball. It's what I did. But who I was made me good at basketball, right? So basically, you're not a dancer. Who you are makes you really good at dancing. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So have you, if that kind of like you identified, this is who I am, the dancer, how have you navigated that? Because where does it fall on you now? Like if I was to ask you, who are you?
Yes.
Do you mind if I?
Yeah. It's interesting.
Put you on the spot here.
Yes. It's interesting because about 50% of 13-year-olds are burning out and dropping out of their sport, especially in Utah. Youth sports are exploding in Utah.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
And I think my experience is an experience of when sports were just barely beginning to become this intense and this crazy. And I was kind of at the forefront of, you can go to a half day of school and you can do your sport and you can do this and this can be your everything.
Yeah. And
what I've learned too is that, and through my friends, is when you have an identity outside of your sport and your sport is for fun, because the reality of it is all of these sports are extracurricular activities and people forget that they are not life. And the second that you make it life, your performance is going to decrease.
Wow.
And I had to take a step back because it was life. I was like, this is great. Like, it's amazing for me to be passionate about something.
Sure.
And it is.
Yeah.
But it's also amazing to be passionate about a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And I learned that, okay, I can be a dancer, yes, but I'm also a daughter and a sister and a friend and a CNA and an autobiography nerd, and I love hunting, and camping's my favorite thing.
Really?
And I'm a biology nerd, and I love school, and I love buying school supplies, and like I have all these other aspects of me that make me me.
Yeah.
And yes, dance is something that was really important to me growing up, for sure. I thought it was my everything.
Yeah.
And what I've learned is I've tried to turn dance back into a hobby. These days, I've tried to make it something that I'm a dance teacher, so I'm a dance director. That's what I do for my job.
Nice.
And that's been an amazing experience to flip the narrative when it comes to teaching these young kids. Because I think the way I was taught was okay. Yeah. And I think I had some amazing mentors. And I think I had some mentors that maybe steered the wrong direction. Maybe more of an old school way. Yeah. And it's been really amazing to think about, like, how do I want these young dancers to think of themselves? And I always say, I'm like, dance should be an extracurricular activity. You should work hard at it and you should be disciplined in it. But if it becomes your everything, it can be taken away in a second.
Yeah.
And I think, my dancers saw me go through it. I taught on my boot and my cast and all the things. Those poor girls.
Yeah.
And they saw me go through it, and
Yeah.
they saw that it can be taken away so quickly. It's like the old saying, like, why would you put all your eggs in one basket?
Yeah.
When you spread the wealth and make yourself a well-rounded person, it doesn't matter if one aspect of your life is going bad, you always have something else.
Wow. I love that. And those girls are lucky to have you.
Oh, you're sweet.
For that reason.
No,
amazing. Seriously, because you can say, hey guys, this is important, but here's what's more important.
Right.
Right. So you're teaching them, it sounds like life lessons versus it's all about this. No, it's more about this. Right.
Yes.
So let's talk more about the, win within. I love that you're doing that. And what's the hope for this? Where do you want this to go? And then what are the things that you're trying to do to get it out there?
Yes, I'm really excited about being Miss Provo because you have a direct partnership with Mayor Kafouzi, which is something that is so unique. We meet with the mayor about once a month, and she helps get our initiatives out there and into the world, which is so unique and powerful.
That is, yeah.
And she's incredible, and I think it's a really cool partnership. And she's had sons that have been in D1 programs and professional athletes and personal experience with certain situations, because any athlete at a college level has horrific stories about certain things.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I think that's really unique, and something I want to do is I want to get it out to as many people in Provo as I can. I'm going to Miss Utah in June, and I'm excited to compete there too. But when it comes to Win Within, I want to push this out to as many people as I can. I want to get athletes coming out and sharing their stories, because the more stories that are shared and the more vulnerable people are, the more people realize that they're not alone.
Yeah.
My plan is to do a service project for each pillar of the Win Within every single month. And so my first thought, these are little thoughts, but my first thought for fuel is I'm meeting with a dietitian and nutritionist to create some cards for before and after fuel snacks for practice.
Oh, nice.
And get these out to athletes. And when it comes to identity, I've been able to already speak to a few different cheer and sports teams in high schools. And I do this presentation where they fill out this list of who are you outside of an athlete, and we talk about it and we write it down, and sometimes it just takes a conversation. And that's something I'm doing for identity. And when it comes to mindset, I'm meeting with some mental health professionals to get more information, because I want to be well educated about the topic.
Love that.
And I think that's something that's powerful, and I've been able to meet with all these different therapists and do partnerships with them as well. And when it comes to recovery, I had an amazing surgeon, Dr. Jose, and his PA, Brett, and I was able to have an interview with them to learn more about the side of the medical side of this and how that pertains to athletics, and something really interesting that they said that I've just never thought about. And it makes me, I think, better, well educated to speak about this topic to other people, is when it comes to athletics, usually the sports that have the most money in them are most forgiving to their athletes recovering. When really athletic programs, in college at least, don't have as much money, the athletes are pushed to get back from their injury sooner or play sooner or perform sooner, because they don't have the funds or the leeway to allow these athletes to recover as they should.
Wow.
Which is so interesting that a surgeon is telling me this. I've never thought about that before.
Yeah.
Well,
you've obviously done your homework.
I try. I'm still learning, and it's still new. So,
but I love that you want to learn, and you're reaching out to people, mentor me here, and I want to learn more about this. And so you're not just have this, little advocacy thing. You really want to know what's going on, so you can be the best at sharing with these people who need the information. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Yeah. Wow, I love it. So powerful, and you are so well spoken.
Thank you.
Man, I love it.
I've had lots of practice.
Yes, you have. Say. Yes, you have. You've
this
had a ton.
Didn't come very easily, but we've had lots of practice.
Yeah. I know you're big on purpose, and I know you've mentioned in some of your other interviews where you talk about there are a lot of young kids who struggle. They don't want to get out of bed. They don't know what they're doing. They don't even have a clue. So it's one thing to be passionate about something, which we've talked about, which can be good, but it also can be detrimental if we do it too hard. But then there's also the other side where a lot of these younger kids your age don't have a clue. of what they want to do. And therefore, they almost feel like, I don't even want to get out of bed today. So would you mind sharing your thoughts on that? Because I know you have a lot of feelings around that as well.
Yes. I spent my entire 2 to 3 years of high school advocating for this and talking to youth about finding your passion and your why in life.
Yeah.
And I think I was really lucky from a young age to be a very passionate individual.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's an experience for everybody, and that's okay. I'm lucky to be blessed with that.
Yeah.
And I think in high school, I saw in my other friends of, wow, like there isn't a passion. Like why don't you want to go to school? Like I loved school. So I'm like, why don't you want to go to school? And I realized it was because there wasn't a reason to. And when you open up the conversation to people of, okay, why do you go to school? Is it to get good grades, to get into a college? All right. Wow. Do you not care about going to college? All right. So your senior year, why are we in school? Let's graduate early. Let's do something different. Yeah. Like, let's do something with this. And I think for a while, I just advocated that over and over and over. And while I think it was good in the moment, I don't think I'd ever had a personal experience of not wanting to get out of bed or just feeling so depleted. Yeah. And I think my experience through what I went through back in April and May showed me that. I mean, there was times where it sounds maybe not rational now, but in the moment it was rational. The dance world's really small. And there was a lot of times I remember in May where I didn't even want to leave my house because I thought that people were looking at me like a failure. And I thought that everybody around me thought that I had failed at this thing. Like you'd gotten to your dream and then you let it go. Like that's your fault. And that was really disheartening. And I think it caused me to label myself as a failure and label myself as somebody that's washed up and unmotivated and had everything and let it slip away. And that's when I had an experience like other people have had before. And I think it's opened my eyes to be more compassionate and empathetic to people of, I understand. Like I understand. And also that you can't do it alone. I had a family that, I mean, I couldn't drive and after I got my surgery, and I had a family that family member would come home every day and take me somewhere. And I had friends that would come and visit me, and I didn't do it alone. And so I think now more than ever, I think before in high school, I was really focused on myself and I was really focused on my goals and my aspirations. And I think through this experience, I've learned that you have to look outside of yourself. Somebody once said to me that you're never too busy to make someone feel loved. And it like hit me so hard. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, why are we so worried about our own lives to not look outside of other people? And I really try hard now to look to other people and see like where they're struggling, because when you have other people lifting you up, like there was a million times where I didn't want to lift myself up. But when you have other people that are lifting you up and pushing you to find a purpose and find a why, that's really powerful. And I think young people forget that they can't do it on their own. And I mean, I'm not somebody to ask for help, so I understand. So I think it's up to everyone else to look outside of themselves and figure out who they can start picking up.
Love that.
Because a lot of young people don't want to ask for help, and I understand. I get it.
Yeah. It's always something that people struggle with to ask someone, because we feel like we're going to burden them.
Exactly.
Right. Which is not the case, but it's just, I think it comes back to the feeling like you're a failure. It's a form of shame. I'm just not good enough, at the end of the day. And so well said. Wow. It reminds me of this quote by Mark Twain. The two most important days of a person's life are the day they were born and the day they found out why. And that why piece is huge, right? And not only that, I think we also have to find out why. Like, why did you have to break your foot? Why did you have to have issues with the foot? Why did it have to, lead you down this path? And the cool thing is you get to decide why. Why did it happen? You get to decide that, right? And again, I go back to, this is all happening for you as I'm listening to you. That it's led to this and all the good you're doing now. It's so impressive.
Yes.
And I know it's not been an easy road, obviously, but man, here you are fighting for, for you to lift yourself up, but also now you want to make a difference in other people's lives who are going through maybe the same thing.
Right.
How does that feel?
I think it's interesting. I think I've learned a lot of humility through this experience. I think that I always thought that I had already found my passion. My passion was dance. My passion was Cougarettes.
Yeah,
my
right.
passion was helping other people find their why. And I'm this, and then I went through an experience that completely broke me, and I realized how important humility is, and how important grit and resilience is. Because I think what a lot of people don't know is even after I got my hardware out, my foot got infected, and I was in the ER twice, and I had a mild bone infection, and then I had a stress fracture, and I was back in a boot, and it all pertained because I had to dance at this tryout in April. And I think a lot of hate can come out of that. I think a lot of bad feelings can come out of that. And I think I'm still dealing with those feelings here and there, but what have learned is that, like, yes, you can go through life hating people or circumstances or things in your life, and it sounds terrible because people tell me this all the time, and I wouldn't listen, and it would make me really upset, and I'm a little stubborn, and you can hate people, and that's fine, and you can live your life that way. And I think I was mad at God for a while. I didn't understand why he had given me something just to take it away. And I soon learned that people have agency and people make choices, and sometimes those choices affect you. But you can choose what to do with your life. Like, you can choose to be miserable, or you can choose to pick yourself up by the bootstraps and try. And I feel like and I think it's okay to live life as just getting through day by day and trying each and every day. And it doesn't have to be this, I'm fine. Because I think even now my mom still asks me, she's like, you seem much happier. Like, are you doing okay? And I'm like, thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm happier. And then I also think about it, and I'm like, and I've still had really hard days. And I don't think those days will ever go away. And I think that's all right too. I think those days make you powerful.
I've heard it said, learn to do the hard days well. Because we're going to have them. Right. And if we can learn to do them well, which I think that's what you're doing, you're learning to do them well. Right? You know, it doesn't make it necessarily easier. But when you do them well, you know, at the end of the day, you're like, okay, I'm going to be okay. You know, I got this kind of thing. And wow, you're just so wise at such a young age. I'm just blown away. I really am. I mean, and I think this is such a huge message for the young people listening to this right now that you're sharing, because I think so many of these young people, and you know this, don't even dare talk about what's going on inside of them. They don't even, we want to put on the mask that we are successful and we got everything figured out sometimes, and when deep down we really don't.
Mask a lot.
And I've done it too. Right? I've done it too in my life. So, wow. Man, I could talk to you all day. You know, so what's your future plans? Where do you go from here? What does that look like?
That was a good question about a few months ago. I said, I have no idea. And that's terrifying, because I know a lot of young people feel that way, and I never felt that way, and it terrified me. I'm a planner. I'm an oldest sibling. It's just natural. And for right now, I think I'm starting to plan year by year. And for right now, I'm at BYU in their pre-med program, and I'm doing great things in that, trying to get ready to take the MCAT next spring.
Wow.
So that's when I'll take my MCAT to get into med school. And then I'm working as a dance director, and I love those little kids like they're my own. And that's been really amazing to maybe change the narrative for them. And then outside of that, I'm advocating for athletes and advocating for people that need a voice. And I think when it comes to my 3-year plan and my 5-year plan, being a doctor has always been a passion project for me. And I think sometimes it took a little bit of the back burner because I was so focused on dance. And I think now it's time for me to pursue that and strive for that. And strive to be a well-rounded person and push other people to do that. And I don't know if college dance is maybe in my future, and maybe it is. But I think I'm to the point where I'm okay if it's not. Too.
Wow. Well said. You know, I have a lot of clients sit right where you're sitting, and these clients they've blown up their lives. They just got out of prison. They just got out of jail, or they've blown up their lives. They got a DUI. They're addicted to alcohol, heroin, meth. And on day one, I have them read this, And I'd love to have you read that out loud, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it.
The most delightful surprise in life is to suddenly recognize there is nothing wrong with you.
And 10 out of 10 times, the person will start crying.
Yeah. Because most times, I think for a while, I thought that I would tell, like, people that I would speak to about this, my safe people, my safe circle, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why do I have such hatred towards these people?
Yeah.
And why do I feel this way about these certain things? And the reality of it is everybody processes emotions differently.
Yeah.
And when something like really matters to you, it affects you.
Yeah.
It affects you deep. And I think every day I still have to wake up and choose happiness and choose forgiveness. Yeah. And I'm getting there. I think that will take me a long time.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay. But like, I try and wake up every day and choose that. And it's a choice, because I could choose to be miserable and I could choose to hate. And I tried that for a while and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So if I tried it for everybody, and it doesn't lead to anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think for me, Win Within is a way to keep my story alive, because for a while it just felt like everybody was moving on and I was the one that had the problem and was still struggling.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like, Win Within is keeping my story alive and realizing that it wasn't okay what happened to me and it shouldn't be brushed under the rug.
Yeah.
And that the more I share my story and my message, the more I can help other individuals and help other young athletes not get to a place where they feel like their entire life is over at 19 because they didn't make a dance team.
Yeah.
And when you say it like that, you realize how far we've strayed from sports should make kids be better at life.
Yeah.
We don't put kids in sports to be better at sports.
Yeah.
Nobody cares if you can shoot 1,000,000 baskets.
Yeah.
People care if you learn hard work and resiliency and humility.
Yeah.
And that's what sports teach. And we've gone so far away from that when it comes to the youth, yes, I want to help athletes who have already gone through things, but when it comes to youth, I want to help them not get to the place that I was at, where they thought at 19 that they were a failure and had done everything wrong in their life and their whole life was over.
Ooh. It's so needed, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow, I'm so glad you're doing that. Again, you wouldn't be doing that had you not gone through this. So as hard as that was, I'm glad that you're willing to get out there and do this, because I think so many people need this.
I think I've learned that I went through an experience for a purpose and for a reason.
Yep.
And for some reason, I was chosen to be this person.
Yep.
And I don't take that lightly. And I think it's daunting sometimes to realize that I'm the person that's going to open up this door to get athletes talking about their experiences and changing the narrative when it comes to how athletes are treated.
Yeah, I love it. If there's someone listening to you right now, they're in a dark place, they're struggling, they don't know what to do, what would you tell that one person listening to you right now?
Anytime anybody would tell me something, I'd get upset, but I'm stubborn. So I think it's okay to be a mess. And I think it's okay to fall apart. And I think for a while I kept it all together really nicely. And it's okay to be a mess. It's okay to fall apart. And it's okay to lean on your support system.
Yeah.
I think that's something I've learned. I've never been somebody to ask for help. And I had people that forced me to ask for help.
Yeah.
And I think also something that people forget, when you feel sorry for yourself, the quickest way to fix it is to be a part of something greater than you. And
love that.
Miss Provo does that for me, because I'm able to do service events and serve other people and be in our community. And when you pour into other people, your cup gets filled in return. Yeah. And when you make your life about everyone else besides yourself, you're a happier, better person. Yeah. And I think when you feel so low about yourself and so in the pit of all the negativity, when the only way to slowly dig yourself out, because there's not a quick fix. Right. The only way to slowly dig yourself out is to serve other people and look outside of yourself. Because when you're a part of something greater than you, you realize how important other people are.
Yeah.
And how important relationships are and community are.
Well said. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes.
So powerful. Well, I could talk to you all day, honestly. Thank you for everything you've shared today. I'm emotional about what you're saying. I'm touched. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
And again, I know that you still have your hard days, and I love your vulnerability. More than anything you've done here is that. Vulnerability is power.
Yes.
And that just shows you're just being real. You know, people might think, oh, she's Miss Provo, and, you know, she's, you know,
pageanty.
she's got all these pageants. She was a Cougarette. She was this and that, and all these things, and think that your life, oh my, she must just have this perfect. And I just love the vulnerability. It's like, yeah, I've had all these great things, but yeah, at the same time, I've had these battles and struggles as well. And I think it just really speaks of your authenticity to everyone listening to this. And I can relate with you on so many levels, and so much I wanted to share, but this is not about me. It's about you.
I know we could probably talk for hours.
We could.
We may have had similar experiences.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but I'm so impressed. So thank you so much for being here. And
thank you.
If someone wants to reach out to you, Jaylynn, and get to know more about what you're doing, more about your initiative, and all this amazing stuff you're doing, what's the best way for someone to reach out to you?
Yes. So I have my personal Instagram, Jaylynn.Lindley, and then also the Miss Provo Instagram, which I share a lot of Win Within content as well. It's just missprovo.ut.
Yep.
And on these platforms, I'm really trying to open up the conversation.
Great.
To other young athletes to share their experiences.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll put the links on the show notes. They can go right to you and right to Miss Provo, Utah. And again, I'm grateful for the platform they've allowed you to have, because that obviously is helping you get your message out there to the masses. And again, thank you. I'm honored that you would come on my Belief Cast.
Oh,
I mean, honestly,
you're so nice.
It means it really does mean the world to me. And what I'm most excited about is for the listeners hearing this right now, because I'm telling you, you have touched their hearts without a doubt. So thank you.
Thank you.
So folks, right? Am I right? Your heart has been touched if you've listened to this whole thing. I know that you felt her vulnerability, you felt her passion, you felt her love, you felt her, just being willing to say, hey, I've got my struggles, and I know you can relate. So if you have a loved one that is struggling and you don't know what to do, send them a link to this episode, because they will learn so much from Jaylynn, and just like I have today. And I can't thank you guys enough for tuning in week after week. And again, thanks to my sponsors. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing. So thank you. I love you guys so much. I love this platform. I love that I get to do a podcast. And I love people like you, Jaylynn, who are willing to come on here and share their story. People are astonishing. That's what I come away with. So thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure. Thank you for giving me a platform to open up about my experience and hopefully at least shed light on the situation and help other people. Thank you.
Absolutely. We'll have you on again for sure. All right. Take care, everyone. Love you guys.